hair is red, my hair is red. Holy crap, my hair is red. Hello, my name is Kat, and today I will be making a TBR book jar. So I first heard about this book jar thing from Mother Effing Books, who did a video about this yesterday, and I thought it was a fantastic idea, so I wanted to do it too. Basically, you just take a jar and on little scraps of paper you write books that you would like to read or buy, something like that, and you put them into your book jar. You can take books from your wish list and write them on scraps of paper and put them in the jar, and then when you get the opportunity to buy one, you can just pull one at random. Or maybe you write books that you've really been meaning to read for a long time, and then when you feel like reading one, you pull it out of the jar, go to the library, get that book. I will be using my book jar to kill my TBR pile. I have many unread books on my shelves, and it's making me feel very, very guilty. So I have selected 14 books that have been on my shelf that I've been intending to read for over a year. Some of them have been on my shelves for like 4 years. That's embarrassing. Don't judge me. Starting with May, there are 8 months left in this year. So I have 14 books, and every month I'm going to choose 1 or 2 books out of this jar, and those will be added to my TBR each month. And hopefully I will get through all of these 14 books by the end of this year, and that will make me feel very happy and much less guilt in my soul. So I have an empty jar and some books written on little scraps of paper, and now I'm going to go through my list and tell you guys which 14 books I really need to read this year to stop feeling guilty. First up is Maximum Ride by James Patterson. I won the first 5 books in this series in a contest several years ago, and I still have not started it, so I need to read at least the first book by the end of this year. Next up is Plain Kate by Erin Bow. I've heard amazing things about this book. It's a fantasy standalone, which of course makes me so much more interested in it, and I need to read this book. I need to. Next up is Lisa and Poe by Lauren Oliver, and I do not know why I have not yet read this book. Lauren Oliver is one of my favorite authors. I love her writing, and this has just been sitting on my shelf forever, so I'm gonna read it. Next up, I have The Time Traveler's Wife. I actually bought this book after seeing and loving the movie, and, you know, books are often better than movies, so I have no idea why I haven't read this yet. Next up, I have The Disreputable History of Frankie Landau Banks by E. Lockhart. I remember reading The Boyfriend List in high school, and I really, really loved that book, that series, so I'm really excited to read this. I've heard many, many good things about it, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet, like all of the books on this list. Next, I have Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta, another book I've just heard amazing, amazing things about, and I have not yet read. I'm going to read it. Next up, I have The City of Ember by Jeanne Duprat. Book is so shiny. This book was actually recommended to me by one of my critique partners a while ago, and I haven't read it yet. Obviously, I haven't read any of these books. That's what this video is about, but I'm gonna read this one. I need to read this one. Then I have Feed by M.T. Anderson, another book that I've heard many, many good things about. It's received great criticism from reviewers and book critics alike. I want to read it. Next, I have The Dust of 100 Dogs by A.S. King. I have not yet read a book by A.S. King, but I've heard amazing, amazing, amazing things. Next up, I have The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, and I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, Kat, you haven't read this yet? Nope, I haven't. I'm kind of intimidated by it because I've heard it's a very emotional book, and I think I'm ready to finally read it and cry my guts out. So this is on my list to read this year, finally. Next up on my list is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I've actually only ever read one book by Neil Gaiman, and that was Coraline, but this book has been sitting on my shelves for ages, and it is high time I read it. Next up, I have Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder, another book that's been on my shelf for ages that I still need to read. I actually have not read any books by Maria V. Snyder yet, so this is going to be the first, but I'm really excited about this one. I've heard amazing things. Next up, I have Perfect Chemistry by Simone Alcaraz. Yet another book I've been intending to read for ages, so it's on the list. I'm gonna read it this year. And finally, I have The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. Just one more book I've been intending to read for ages that I'm finally going to read this year. Into the jar you go. Not actually in the jar. It wouldn't fit. I mean, I might be able to make it fit because it's a paperback, but I don't want to. So those are the 14 books on my shelves that have been causing me the most unread book guilt. So into the jar they go, and hopefully I will be able to get through all of them by the end of the year. Anyways, that is everything I had for this video today, so thank you very much for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye!